So you're in a game. The
Exactly.
game's called life. It's physical reality. You're having fun. You're doing these things. You're talking about these things. You're thinking in new ways. You're blazing new trails. You're all explorers. You're all perfect as you are. You're worthy and whole. You've come here to experience this physical reality in order to grow and expand. You're expanding with every moment, with every experience. You cannot hold off expansion. You don't need to hold off expansion. You are either expanding to more love or you're playing around in the fear a little bit and buying into the illusion. Well, you've done that enough, and so you're thinking in new ways, and this is why you're here. Whether you're listening to this at a later date or you're on the call now, you're thinking in new ways, and those new pathways of thought are blazing trails for others to follow when they're ready. But they're not ready yet. They will be in the future, and there's no need to push them along. They'll come along at their own pace. So for you to experience what you've come here to experience, you need to be led by the guiding light that's within you, the flame that's burning and shining a light on your path ahead. That light may present opportunities, it may shine on obstacles, whatever it is, it's there for you to see what's actually happening in your reality. And so you've been living in an illusion, and because the light is being stronger, it's been activated and it's illuminating your path ahead, you can not shy away from anything that the light illuminates. So if it's a limiting belief or something you think is wrong, it's shining a light on that thing so you can think of it in a new way. When you think of it in a new way, you create new thought patterns that go off into the mass consciousness, and those thought patterns are now available to other people. So if you're seeing something from a new perspective where everyone else will think that thing's wrong, but you're not going to buy into the illusion anymore, you're going to see the truth of it, and you're going to shine your light on it, and you're going to see the good in it. And when you start to see the good in it, even though others will want to see the bad, when you see the good in it, well, it illuminates that so that other people who are ready can also see the good. But if you're hiding away from these things and not shining your light on these things and wishing you were somewhere else, well, you're just keeping the old thought patterns going, and that's not really beneficial. It's not beneficial to you or to anyone else. You are here to be a benefit to all that is. You don't need to protect yourself. You don't need to worry about you personally getting what you think you need or having anything happen for you in some way. You are here to shine this light. When you start shining your light on those things that you once thought was wrong or that everyone else sees as wrong and seeing it in a new way, it transforms for you. And this is what is the benefit of you doing this first. Now, here's the tricky thing about this. Everyone else is saying this thing is wrong, and you're saying it's right. So you're conflicted there because why would they all think it's wrong? Maybe you're not seeing it right. Maybe you're making something up. Maybe you're being all willy-nilly and woo-woo and out of your mind. Well, you have to realize that the mass consciousness of this planet is in fear, and they're not seeing things from the true perspective. They're all seeing things from this perspective of the victim. From the perspective of the victim, all these things seem wrong. They all seem like dangers to avoid. They all seem like things you don't want to mess with. But you have a different way of looking at it now. You have a different way of interpreting your reality from the perspective of the creator, not the victim. From the creator. You created this thing you think is wrong. This thing you think is wrong has come to you so that you can identify a limiting belief and process that limiting belief and think of it in a new way and move forward towards greater levels of expansion as you intended prior to your birth. And that expansion will lead to the awakening of who you truly are, the authentic self. The version of you that exists in the non-physical, the true version of you, who is you in the physical, but you don't see it yet. When you see it, everything changes. Everything becomes more joyful. You feel better. You'll stop worrying about the same old things that everyone else is worrying about, and you'll focus on your life, on your progression, on your journey of self-discovery, on your journey of service and your soul's purpose coming through. This is what you truly want. But of course, with all that comes fear. Are you going to actually move forward to the authentic version of who you are and put up a possibility of rejection or loss or failure or even death? Are you going to say, none of that illusion is true? I know the truth. I hear wisdom coming from within. I understand the guidance that's coming from within. I'm listening to my inner voice for the first time. And I'm not being swept up in the fears of the masses. I'm blazing a new trail that works for me. It doesn't have to work for them, but it works for me. And when you start going along the things that work for you and listening to that inner voice and relying on the wisdom that is coming from within you, well, you have less doubt. You don't really have to buy into all the mumbo jumbo and the noise in the background. You can focus. And isn't this what you're doing in the non-physical? Isn't this what your inner self is doing right now? Your inner self is focused on all the good, focused on how perfect everything is, including yourself. Your inner self is holding that point of focus for you to align with. When you align with that true focus, with that true intention, with the truth of this reality, well, guess what? You're opting out of the old reality of the illusion of fear and into a new reality, which is the truth. Now, there's not a lot of people living in that truth yet. They'll come along. You're starting to live in that truth now. But that truth is different than what everyone else sees. They still see the illusion, so you cannot get them to agree with you. They're never going to agree with you. They're still stuck in the fear. They're going to still see things from a perspective of the victim and try and protect themselves. And one of the things that's in their reality is you. So they're going to point out your faulty way of looking at life. Because from their perspective, it makes no sense. What do you mean you don't have to put up barriers? What do you mean you don't have to protect yourself? What do you mean you can be in any situation and not have fear? You need to look both ways before you cross the street. You need to put on your seatbelts. You need to do all these things. You need to take your vitamins. You need to make sure the house is in order, that you pay your bills and all these things. That does not apply anymore because you are in a new reality. Those things that the masses seem to believe is true from their perspective of fear is just the illusion. The truth can only be seen when you listen to that inner voice and you follow that guidance and you opt out of the illusion for the first time ever, maybe. When you start to see something in a different way and say, maybe that's just an adventure for them. Maybe it's something that they need to experience. I'm not experiencing that. I'm watching it on the news. They're experiencing that stuff. They're experiencing terrorism and COVID and financial crises and all these things. I'm opting out of that. I'm not going to experience unhealth or arguments with others or separation of any kind. I'm charting a new path, and this new path is all about connection, love, acceptance, going with the flow, understanding that I'm the creator, allowing things to come to me whenever they come, not needing anything that doesn't come to me, not wishing things were going to be different than they are, not holding on to these outcomes that I think will satisfy what I'm fearing in the first place. Let it all go. And once you start to let it go, it all falls into place magically. It doesn't mean you won't still be wanting things, because there is a desire within you that's birthing for new experiences and new information and new fun and new excitement. Not thinking that this is a bad place to be in physical reality. This is where you want to be. When you get to the non-physical, you'll look back at this life and you'll say, oh my God, this was the perfect life. It was perfect from the day I was born, every single moment of that day, of that life, till the day I died. Every single part of it was perfect. If I could have only have seen that, I could have gone through it all with so much more ease and more fun and more joy and less worry and less regret and less resentment, and I could be in the moment more, and I could focus on what makes me happy, what thrills me, what's exciting to me, not to everyone else, but just to me. And I never had to do all that work and effort and struggle just to prove that I was valuable and good. I could have let all that go. Well, this is the life that you're embracing now as a possibility for the first time ever. This is the life that is brand new. This is a life where it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, because what they think is all based in their perception of reality. Much of that is clouded by limiting beliefs. And so they'll want you to be a different way, and they'll want you to say things differently, and they'll want you to be perfect, and they'll want all these things to happen. They'll want you to improve, but you can opt out of that, and you can just be you. When you be you, when you become the authentic version of you, when you become authentic and let go of your need to have everyone else like, love, and respect you, and just do what you do, and understand if they come along with you, that's part of your journey. And if they fall away, well, they're not needed anymore to be a reflection of your limiting beliefs any longer. But yet, you'll find that they won't. You'll find that in love and authenticity, you'll forge deeper connections with everyone in your life, with everything in your life. You'll have these relationships not just to people, but also to your environment, your society, and to animals and trees and nature and your passions, your interests. These are all relationships that can be forged in love or in fear. When you start forging more of these in love and letting go of what they think, you are setting yourself free. True freedom, true abundance comes with authenticity. And with that, we'd like to talk to you about anything you'd like to talk about. Who would like to start?